Hello, my name's Rob and welcome to Swift Slots. When I first started this channel, about video number 12, I made a really nice spray booth because I thought I could cheat the system and save a bit of money. And it worked really well, and I've used that booth for all my projects going forwards. But over the months, I've found a few problems with it, and I've had to change the fans a couple of times as well. And I just thought it could be improved, and it was time for an upgrade. So I thought I'd make Mega Booth Mark II. So let's crack on. I'll show you the making of Mega Booth Mark II, and then afterwards I run through it and show you where I got all the parts and roughly how it works. So let's crack on, let's get the tools out and get going. And here it is, Megabooth Mark II. So the whole thing cost me about £85 to make and about a day's worth of labour. So it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but I'm okay with it. The ones that you buy on Amazon and eBay, they're about £100. They're not as big as this and they won't be nearly as powerful. So it's not too bad, I don't think. So the box came from Asda, about £7. The LED lighting was nicked from my old spray booth, but if you buy it on eBay, it's about £5 for 3 meters on a little 5-volt USB. The speed controller on the site is a 40 amp speed controller at 12 volts, and these fans only pull about 7 amps between them when they're running, so there's more than enough power there. The actual speed controller is powered by my 20 amp 12 volt power supply, so that's more than big enough to run it. But you can buy the smaller power supplies on eBay for they're about £15, and they can go up to about 15 to 20 amps. So you can get them fairly cheaply. That's an old power supply that I had for my helicopter days for charging huge LiPo batteries, so I already had it. The material here is quilting material from a local haberdashery. It's 10mm thick. That's a replaceable filter, I believe. I think I'm going to use it as. These little bars here that I've used to hold it all in, they're actually from dead umbrellas. Over the years, we've got a whole selection of umbrellas with carbon fibre splines, and as they all die in the wind, we just keep all the umbrellas, and I cut them all up, and I keep all this rodding for projects, and here's one of them. So the black felt behind here is actually pond filter material, 10mm thick, from eBay. It's about £7 for 2 pieces of A4, so there's more than enough to do in there. All the wood was just scraps that I had kicking around. The foil tape is from places like Screwfix for ducting, and it's fantastic stuff, foil tape. It really conforms well. It's very, very strong. It's fantastic for doing this sort of work. In fact, it's probably what it's for, being ducting tape. So really, really good stuff. And then the removable top part, which is where the pipe, this pipe, is going to be going eventually. So that's just ground pipe, 4-inch ground pipe with 30mm cut out and the pipe closed up, and the piece that I cut out glued on the inside, which brings it right down to the correct size for that ducting to go over nice and tight. So what will happen is we'll have 2 tubes coming down from the ceiling, which will have a box in the ceiling with a vent in the roof. They'll come down, and then when you want to use the spray booth, you undo a little flap that'll be underneath here. You undo the flap. These will pull down from the ceiling with all the pipes still attached, and they'll go straight onto the top of the spray booth and do up the 3 wing nuts on the top, and that will suck this down to the top of the spray booth, and then I can have the spray booth on my main table wherever I want to put it when I want to start spraying. When I finish, I can simply undo the wing nuts, push that back to the ceiling, put the flap over it so it holds it up nice and tight and seals it off from the wind, and it's job done. You can get on with the rest of what you want to do. So one of the major problems I had with the old spray booth was it wasn't very convenient to put anywhere. There's only one place I could have in my workshop to put it, and it wasn't very good, and it was always in the way, and the wings on the front of it kept on getting knocked, and sometimes they'd fall off, and it was all a bit of a pain. So with this box now, it's nice and deep. You haven't got any wings on the front of it. You can put the lid straight on top of it when you want to pack it away and keep all the dust out, and it's much more convenient. So as I said, the 2 fans in the back, they're actually 80-watt fans. They're 7 inches in diameter, and they're from an ATV, or small car, I guess. Probably not a car, but they're advertised as ATV fans, and they are 7 inches in diameter, and I say 80 watts a piece, and they were £20 each. So that's by far the most expensive part of this build. The 2 fans were £40. And if you look in a next video coming up, you can actually see a ring. When I used my old spray booth for the last time, you'll actually see a ring forming on the back of the spray booth, and that's actually me testing one of these fans to see how good they are, and it works so well. That's when I decided to just junk the old spray booth and make this new one with 2 fans in it, so I get even more suck and a lot more convenience. So as I said, all the wood I had kicking around was all scrap, and it took me about a day to make. So there we are, it is what it is. So the other thing you might be wondering is why I put the louvers between the filter material and the fans, and it's simply to straighten the air, because when I tested the single fan on its own, I found there's a bit of a vortex of air, and I thought if I put those louvers in, it would straighten the air path up and give a little bit more pull. So that's why they're there. So in future videos, you'll see me now using this spray booth, and I'll keep you posted as to how it's getting on, and if I need to make any adjustments, I'll come back and I'll make another video on it. So if you found this information useful, and I hope you have, maybe you'll subscribe, and if you hit the little bell button, that'll be awesome. So until the next time, thank you very much.